Season 7 was about closure.
And that's where we're going.
Right back to the beginning.
We wanted to be kind of a greatest hits year.
The next few months are going to be quite a ride. And I think we're all going to learn something about ourselves in the process.
It's a lot about leadership and its cost.
You still don't get it. It's not about right. Not about wrong.
We knew we wanted to reclaim our original mission statement.
It's about power.
We set up a scenario that would take us back to the high school where everything started.
For Buffy, the significant conflict of the season was really about looking back at what she had been.
Buffy was evolving from sort of the absolute self-centeredness of adolescence to a more community-based identity. She's thinking about herself in terms of the people around her, what influence she has, rather than just she's the center of the universe.
You guys are gonna be okay. The school's intense, but you'll do all right as long as you're careful. And you might want to think about sticking together.
Ironically, our place is in the new Sunnydale High School.
Some students will be sent to you, and others, I'm hoping, will start to come in on their own.
What if they don't? Should I panic?
You'll be surprised, Buffy. You're the youngest and least stuffy member of this faculty. I think the students are going to want to come in and talk to you, and when they do, don't evaluate them. Just listen. They need to feel like there's someone around here who actually understands them.
Can I give detention?
Buffy being a guidance counselor goes along with the central theme of what does it mean to be a hero and how do I teach others what I've learned.
The gift about this show is that it's not just sort of one generic, like, this is okay, we are only doing one thing here. You know, there's just, you never know what to expect.
I'd love to offer you some guarantee that you'll be welcome back to Sunnydale with open arms, but I can't. You may not be wanted, but you will be needed.
You get the script, you get to be funny, you get to cry, you get to, you know, be scared or be scary. You know, it's amazing.
This season, we had to deal with the fact that she'd become apocalyptically evil, you know, her guilt about that, but also, you know, with the idea of where do you go from great grief?
Tara and I are kind of private.
I'm sorry. It must have...
Private.
So we introduced Kennedy, and that was about the idea that, yes, you have to move on and that life continues, and you know, to find somebody who would play very differently against Willow than Tara did.
Is something wrong?
No. No. It's just... I think you should know.
Episodes like The Killer Inside Me were about the pain of moving on and how the idea that you do makes you feel very guilty about the person who's died.
I kissed you just for a second, but it was enough. I let her go. I didn't mean to.
Kissing me didn't mean...
No. She was never gone. She was with me.
At the end of season 7, she reaches a place where the magic no longer is an evil force. She learns how to use the magic for good.
I don't think we should wait right now. Opening a portal this size could take days.
Better get started.
I think I might pee my pants.
You can do it. The magic's not the best thing.
Okay. Via temporis, iam clamo a te, via spati, teubio aparaha.
She embraces who she is, and by the end of the season, she becomes a goddess.
I almost want to ask at the beginning of each season, who am I playing now? But it all makes sense within the character, and it has never stopped.
Spike was someone that, you know, we wrote as we experienced him. We didn't know from day to day, you know, how their relationship was going to be. And we had long arguments about this from seasons ago.
I get scripts very often that I'm scared of, that I don't know how we're going to do it.
Right you are, love.
I haven't changed, not a lick. And watching your face trying to figure me out was absolutely delicious.
Spike, as we know, came back mad as a hatter and then just made himself better so shortly.
He's taken drastic measures to try to impress Buffy that he's a changed man and worthy of her love.
What did you do?
I tried to cut it out.
Spike now has a soul, and he's living in the basement. We find him down there, and he has his own hero's journey to go through now.
It's what you wanted, right? It's what you wanted, right?
His journey for season 7 becomes, what does it mean to be a hero, much like Buffy's journey.
And she shall look on him with forgiveness, and everybody will forgive and love. He will be loved.
At the end, Spike learns, about sacrifice and love. And these are the things we've needed Spike to learn this entire, the entire series, actually.
When I say I love you, it's not because I want you, or because I can't have you. It has nothing to do with me. I love what you are, what you do, how you try. I've seen your kindness and your strength. I've seen the best and the worst of you. And I understand with perfect clarity exactly what you are. You're a hell of a woman. You're the one, Buffy.
Xander and Anya, are in that sort of nether space of, they've broken up, but they're still the most important people in each other's lives.
If I had married you, it would have been against everything I thought was best. It wouldn't have worked.
But we still spark. And I get jealous of you, you get jealous of me. You still love me.
Where do they go from there? How do they figure out how to be friends after having had such an intense relationship and being engaged? And how do they continue to live in the same town together and function?
Xander grew up and became a regular guy with a regular job and responsibilities, able to handle a lot of things.
For Anya, this season has been about finding herself. She had to find who she was as a person. She had always defined herself through other people, and she needed to be alone to learn how to truly love other people.
My whole life, I've just clung to whatever came along.
Well, speaking as a clingy, kind of didn't mind.
They needed to both grow apart so that they could grow together. And at the end, you'll find Xander is in a place of love for Anya that I think goes deeper than just boyfriend, girlfriend.
You don't care about her the same way I do. Buffy, I still love her.
I know. And that's why you can't see this for what it really is.
They don't end up together in the end, but I think their love, is their defining characteristic at the end for both of them.
One of my biggest requests through my time on the show is that Dawn matures, because I want her to be as realistic to real teenagers in the world. I think this season for my character has been kind of like her acceptance season.
Back to school gift.
It's a weapon, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Year 7 was great because she finally was like, okay, I know who I am, I know what I'm gonna do, I'm going to help my sister, I'm gonna fight along.
It takes just one vampire to kill you. So you've got to know you can take him. Know your environment, know what's around you, and know how to use it.
Sarah slipped very nicely into the role of teacher and mother to Dawn and, big sister, which is different than mother. And she really took her under her wing and didn't really treat her like the baby like she had before.
There was talk about whether Dawn would be, the next Slayer. The episode potential was very much played on everybody's expectations of, oh, well, here they go. Here's the episode where clearly she's, going to be the guy. Oh, okay. I never wanted Dawn to be that, really.
I saw what you did last night.
Yeah, I
I guess I kind of lost my head when I thought I was the Slayer.
Well, you thought you were all special. Miss Sunnydale 2003. And the minute you found out you weren't, you handed the crown to Amanda without a moment's pause.
What I wanted to do instead was celebrate the person who, you know, who doesn't achieve that, who isn't, you know, and that was her great connection with Xander, which for me is the ultimate statement about him. What is it like to be the person who isn't noticed by everybody, who isn't in the spotlight, and, you know, and how that person struggles, sometimes much, much more.
They'll never know how tough it is, Donnie. To be the one who isn't chosen. To live so near to the spotlight and never step in it. But I know. I see more than anybody realizes because nobody's watching me. I saw you last night. I see you working here today. You're not special. You're extraordinary.
Tom is just so delightful, and that character just made us laugh so hard that we just kept bringing him on. Of course, we got to have Warren and Jonathan, you know, because everybody works more when they're dead. It was during Conversation with Dead People that we were like, we don't know what the episode was. We really had nothing. And I was like, let's get the nerds. Nerds are funny. We'll get them, and, you know, we'll think of something. And it kind of took off from there, which was great.
The trio days are far behind me, but I keep them right here in my heart.
I need you. You're my iron fist.
I just don't think I can kill anybody else.
Oh, will you stop worrying about that?
I didn't want to kill you. Warren made me.
Hey, I'm glad he did. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Andrew sort of got his one and only wish, which was to hang out with the gang and possibly stay at her house. Not in the way he had hoped it would be, but he did get to hang out at their house and bakes things and does art projects, makes trouble. And it's interesting that he sort of fits in to the household the same way he fit into the trio. I mean, he's technically a evil genius, but he's sort of bumbling at it. He doesn't quite get it right ever.
Did you ever see the movie Misery?
6 times. But the book was scarier than the movie because instead of crushing his foot with a sledgehammer, Kathy Bates chops it off with... I'll be good. Storyteller, he had to face the real world and grow up a little bit. You can't always live in your own imaginary world, which I think he did. Strength has been amply tested. And the charges on the reactant ions are well known if their reagents are properly characterized.
It smells funny.
I know, kind of sweaty. I don't know if he necessarily went from bad guy to good guy. I don't know if he was ever really all that bad before. People get carried away and, you know, hang out with the wrong crowd or whatnot. And I think that he definitely changed for the better. I listened to Warren and I pretended I thought it was him, but I knew it wasn't.
The big bad of season 7 is the first, revealing her place in the world. Why not put her in counterbalance to the source of everything she's ever had to fight against?
All these girls, they followed you willingly. You tricked them.
I only told them the truth. As for following, well, that seems to be what they do best.
Although the first didn't make its appearance till the 3rd season, we've described it as being the root of all evil.
And the first could take on the appearance of anyone who had already died. It left us wide open to bring back some great people. Fans really loved it because you got a chance to see some of the bad guys return and be their very specific bad selves for those few episodes that they were in.
Getting to see the mayor again, Harry Groener, was wonderful.
You have what she so desperately wants, the respect of these girls. All she needs is an excuse, and she'll finish what she started when she stuck that knife in your belly. You stay on guard, Faith. Buffy's dangerous.
Getting to see Joyce, because her death was such a huge part of Buffy's development over the years.
Evil is a part of us. All of us. It's natural. And no one can stop that.
We got to see Drusilla again. Always so good for Spike.
But I could be bad if you like.
A lot of these things weren't done until the last minute, so you weren't sure exactly who the characters were going to be or who was available. But we set it up in the beginning so it could be anyone.
I understand. I'll take care.
Since, like, season 1, I've always, you know, pitched, can I be the villain this season?
Must have been an agent of the First after my little burglary session. Now, the knowledge contained in these files had to be protected.
When he first talked about the First, and you know, I said, oh, that would be so cool. Maybe I could come, you know, can I be the First? And he said, well, no, because you have to be dead for that.
The First is unlike anything we've faced before. There's evil, and then there's the thing that created evil.
This first evil who says, you know what, I'm tired of sending in my lackeys to do the job for me. If you want to get something done, do it yourself. He or she is going to step up and take control of the situation and just go head to head with Buffy once and for all.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part on account of her neck snapping and all. Did she say the end is near or here?
This is a show about a woman with power. The perfect ending for this series is this man whose entire reason to exist has to do with denying women power.
It's not this evil being Buffy needs to kill so much as something that people need to learn to conquer themselves.
Sunnydale High School is such a focal point for the events that are happening in the world on the Hellmouth, in the different demon dimensions. Why wouldn't we see somebody there in a position of authority, in a position of responsibility, who actually has a part to play?
Well, it's a new campus. Just getting to know it, you know, make sure it's safe for my sister.
Buffy's sworn duty is to protect the people around her, and if Sunnydale High is a new threat, then she has responsibilities there. So when an opportunity comes up to inject herself into school life, she grabs it. And a lot of that is due to Principal Wood.
Look, I know you were probably more than happy to get out of this place, but I gotta tell you, Miss Summers, I think you belong here.
He has a different relationship with Buffy that I think comes across immediately upon first meeting her. And in fact, he's a little bit of an enigma that unravels throughout the course of the season. We begin to learn some of his secrets as well.
We knew we wanted to have, you know, a grown-up figure who we didn't know what side they were on and had a bit of a past. Named the character Robin Wood, very specifically because we hadn't decided if it would be a boy or a girl. And then we found DB, and, you know, the decision was very quickly made.
These students need someone around here who understands them. I need someone who understands these students. Why? Is there something about you that I don't know that maybe I should?
Principal Wood was kind of the anti-Snyder, you know, and it's the first time that we had an authority figure who's actually cool.
We can't know what's gonna happen, and we can't search their brains. We just do what we can.
It's not enough. I need to fix this. I don't usually get a heads up before somebody dies.
What do you mean usually? I think she felt like, wow, here's someone who, you know, maybe doesn't have the same powers that I do, but we can connect on that Slayer type level. And I think that's something that she's forever searching for. We find out pretty early on, I think it's the same episode that Buffy and Wood go out on their first date, that he's the son of a Slayer. See, when I was a little boy, my mother was one. The one, actually, the Slayer.
Your mother?
It excited her because she had never known that Slayers could have children, so it was a whole new world that was opened up to her.
He also had his own agenda.
Oh, I know more about you than you think, Spike. See, I've been searching for you for a very, very long time. Ever since you killed my mother. I don't think it's ever really answered what happens between Spike and Wood. I think it's something that wraps up their story nicely. There's a certain amount of justice in that, I believe, for Wood.
You look better. As far as I'm concerned, we're on even ground. I meant what I said. I don't have time for your vendetta. But I need you in this fight. I want you on my side.
Something the show tends to run out of is damsels. We run out of people we can put in danger because Willow was a great damsel for a lot of time until she became the most powerful force in the universe. It was wonderful to have new, fresh people that we would put in danger and that the audience would seriously believe could die.
What we tried to do with the Potentials is show a whole wide variety of different girls from different walks of life.
Not one of us is remotely prepared to be activated as the new chosen one.
I feel pretty prepared. Excuse the newness of me, but just so I understand, if a Slayer dies...
Well, when the Slayer dies.
When we first meet them, they don't know the power of their calling.
I heard there's more than one.
More than one what?
Slayer. There's another one somewhere.
No matter how many there are, one of us is gonna be the next Slayer.
You can see sort of the pros and cons of it. You great strength and a great ability you have and specialness, and then the downsides, which is, you know, you're gonna die much sooner, which is a pretty big downside.
Their arc is Buffy training them and getting them ready to become much like she did in the first 2 years of the show.
I know you're all tired. Far away from home, anxious. But you're all special.
As the numbers started to grow and you saw the girls being scared and the girls being tough and the girls being confused, resolving to fight, it was, I think it really brought a lot to the show, especially toward the end.
I think it's kind of a way of our characters looking at where they've been and getting a perspective on where they are now.
Most people in this world have no idea why they're here or what they want to do. You do. You have a mission. A reason for being here.
The interesting thing about Buffy and the whole Slayer mythology is that what made her different was that she had a support group. She had people around her, a family.
They're not here by chance. You're here because you are the chosen ones.
It is such a dream to write for Faith, and to have Eliza back, it just adds a whole new energy.
She's no longer such a complete opposite of Buffy, and there's sort of a subtler and more complicated dynamic between them.
So what changed? I mean, why didn't you fight back?
Other things matter more.
What we did was really create a conflict outside of them that was really about Buffy's ability to lead. And Faith was perfect to do that.
I didn't come here to take anything away from you, but I'm not gonna be your little lapdog either. I came here to beat the other guy, to do right however it works.
And she's definitely questioning everything that Buffy does, but she's not looking to get rid of her.
This is so cool. Buffy would never let us do this.
Faith is sort of like the cool aunt that everyone loves, because the cool aunt doesn't actually have the responsibility of raising the children. She just gets to show up and have fun.
Faith, I need to know that these girls are going to be safe when I'm not around.
No one got hurt, B. Look, you don't even know these girls. Maybe you should have a little more confidence in them. Let them mess up sometimes, you know, get down and dirty. How the hell else are they gonna learn?
Learning from your mistakes is one thing, but you don't throw children
They're
into
not children.
The problem is Faith is not ready to lead. She's damaged in her own way. She's just beginning to pull herself together. As much as she wants to be Buffy, she has to learn how to become Faith.
Really not looking for forgiveness.
You're not.
What do you want me to say? I blew it.
You didn't blow it.
Tell that to
People die. You lead them into battle, they're gonna die.
She's, I think, really looking for redemption, much as we all are.
What? How safe were they when you dragged them off to meet Caleb? How safe was Rona or Amanda or Molly?
She had been such a crucial character at a very specific junction in the series that there would be no way to tie it up without her.
It is not for thee. It is for her alone to wield.
The theme of the year, as I see it, has to do with power. We sort of address a lot of issues having to do with everyone's relationship to their own power and the relationship to Buffy's power. We find out sort of how the first Slayer got her power when Buffy is sent back to Africa, and there's a sort of invading demon masculine force as the source of the Slayer power. Getting to see Nathan Fillion, who a lot of us worked with on Firefly, as Caleb, who we always called the second. The idea of a guy that works for the first and has this misogynist view. We felt that was a real full circle thing for us.
Just another dirty girl? And since you only dress up in dead folk, I'm guessing one who's already been paid her wage.
When Caleb shows up, he needs to hurt our group, and he needs to hurt him in a way that's permanent, so that we know this is not just another bad guy of the week. This is a guy who's going to have consequences.
You're the one who sees everything, aren't you? Well, let's see what we can do about that.
We talk about Xander's power. There's that wonderful scene with Dawn where Dawn says, you know, maybe this is your power that you see. So then when we have his eye put out and he's one-eyed for the rest of the series, there's this whole notion of that was the thing we identified as his power.
Please don't.
I don't think Nick Brendan has forgiven me for tearing out his eye. I was trying to convince him that eye patches are cool, and he should look forward to wearing an eye patch.
Xander, I need someone that I can count on no matter what happens.
I just always thought that I would be there with you. You know, for the end.
We hit the strongest part, because Xander is always the glue that holds the group together. That is his role. And so when the glue, when the strength of the group and the structure gets taken out, everything falls apart. And so when Xander gets hurt, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, and the group falls apart. You see the consequences of Buffy's general attitude as the leader that has to make the hard decisions. The girls have a mutiny.
Hey, look, I swear I didn't want it to go
Don't.
this way. I mean it.
Don't be afraid to lead them. Whether you wanted it or not, their lives are yours.
We kick Buffy out and choose Faith, put Faith in charge with, it turns out, disastrous consequences.
Buffy is completely sort of broken down and isolated and has to sort of find the strength in herself, independent from anything.
You were their leader, and you still are. This isn't something you gave up, it's something they took.
And the difference is?
We can take it back.
Spike was a big part of that. He helped Buffy figure out who she was and what she could do. And knowing that somebody believed in her that way allowed her to be herself and go forward. Then the power switches back, back from Faith to Buffy. The gang is sort of reunited and they continue to fight against Caleb. It's the story sort of at that point of all these women fighting together against this sort of uber man, this woman-hating bad guy.
Buffy, on the other hand, finds the source of the power that she's been seeking, and that source will end up being the key to winning the battle against the First.
At the very end, we came back to the Scooby Gang, to the originals. We had a couple of moments in the last episode that were very specifically designed to say, we've had all these other people and they all matter and it's a thing, but remember, this is where we started and we still are in touch with that.
Buffy, what you said, it flies in the face of everything we've ever, every generation has ever done in the fight against evil. I think it's bloody brilliant.
Can't not end with Angel. And David knew that right away. I mean, he was, he did it as a favor because he was like, I gotta be there, right? I'm in there, I'm in the house. It's the last episode.
So you're gonna be with me in this?
Shoulder to shoulder. I'm yours.
It represented an enormous challenge for me because I literally had to have Angel there, have a significant moment, give people hope that Buffy and Angel might end up together one day, because ultimately, that's what people want.
Not really thinking that far ahead. That's kind of the point. Angel. I do. Sometimes think that far ahead.
Sometimes it's something.
Writing-wise, that was probably the most delicate part for me. It was like, how do I earn her, lying in the comfort of Spike's arms, half an act after she's been, telling Angel maybe one day we'll be together. But the fact of the matter is, the episode was about, moving on and the future and choices and all of that stuff. So it resonated and made sense.
We're not ready. They're not ready. They think we're gonna wait for the end to come, like we always do. I'm done waiting. They want an apocalypse. Well, we'll give them one.
The end of the series, which is where we headed from the very beginning, we, got the opportunity to say, what we've always sort of subliminally said, which is that, we're all slayers.
From now on, every girl in the world who might be a slayer will be a slayer. Every girl who could have the power will have the power. Can stand up, will stand up.
These girls are every bit as tough as any army you'll ever meet. And, the ultimate conclusion in episode 22, when they all become slayers, and then all the girls around the world become slayers that were all meant to, was great. I mean, it all became worth it just at that one moment. And anybody that didn't cry is just just too tough for my book.
Slayers. Every one of us. Make your choice. Are you ready to be strong?
We knew that there was technology existent that we did not have, you know, when we started this series. There's some moments during that battle that are just, you know, with the music, beautifully done, and you know, when Buffy gets up and knocks 5 guys off the cliff, you know, the effect is extraordinary. Just the moment, you know, the girls taking their power, it really worked out well.
Shares her power with all the potentials and makes them all full slayers. It's that notion of the way you protect your power isn't to hoard it, but to share it, to pass it on. This great sort of feminist, empowering message. The notion of women sharing power with other women.
I say my power should be our power.
Willow's dealing with her power and how she feels that if she gives into it, she will end up where she was last season, where she is subject to it and dangerous to the world. In our series finale, she gives into the power, but this time it is this good, pure power. Instead of her hair going black, her hair goes white, and she's this mystic goddess.
The price had to be high. If you're gonna go out, you have to, you know, you really have to earn it.
With every great battle, there has to be loss. Anya, who, you know, 4 years ago ran away from the apocalypse and has become more and more involved in the fight, to the extent that this year she knows the odds are pretty bad, and she stays and she fights, and ultimately she sacrifices herself for the battle.
I knew that if I killed any of the original Scoobies, you know, I could not end on the note that I wanted to, which was a note of hope.
I was scared. I'm sorry.
Did you see what happened? I mean, was she?
The ending is sort of left dismal yet hopeful. He definitely has come full circle, and you know, he has a moment with Xander, sort of talking about her death and her fate, and which was really sad and sweet. I know for me, just reading the script, I was devastated, just because I love the character of Anya so much. She was incredible. She died saving my life.
That's my girl. Always doing the stupid thing.
And so we find our heroes at the end of the day together as they should be, as one, as equals, ready to take on the world. We lose Spike, but it completes his hero's journey, and he learns these fundamental things that have eluded him his entire life. So you know, Spike may be dead, but the things he died for are worth it.
We'll see how it ends.
So we find our heroes at the end of the day together as they should be, as one, as equals, ready to take on the world.
I had different versions, but you know, once I had figured out towards the end where I was going, I knew that I wanted to do one big shot where everybody was talking and we were all, but the whole thing pushed in from the group just to Buffy, and to end on the smile, the beginning of the smile. Not even, you know, not even the full thing, just the beginning of the idea of I can live my life, and the blossoming of hope. I knew that that was the thing I wanted to go out on.
Idea of Buffy looking forward and seeing a future.
I think they'll feel like that's a fitting end, and it's different than anything we've done.
For the fans, the people who have been watching the show for all these years, it was a great wrap-up season.
Just created something that's going to be part of the popular consciousness and live beyond the show.
This season was very much about, remember why we came? This is why we started this. And I feel like we accomplished that. We gave people the message.